Does science disprove the Bible? Faith, facts and the origins debate. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling a big question. Does science disprove the Bible? You've probably heard that science and faith don't mix. But is that true? Let's explore some surprising facts, ask some honest questions and see if faith and science are really at odds, or maybe, just maybe, they go hand in hand. Quick note, before we dive in, if you like the content that explores faith, truth and logic, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming up next. To begin, we need a clear definition. Real science is something we can observe, measure and repeat. If it doesn't meet these criteria, it's more of a theory or a speculation. Now that doesn't mean every theory is bad, but it does mean we should question theories that are taught as facts without being fully testable. Time, for instance, is often used as the magic ingredient in the theory of evolution. The idea is if you give it enough time, anything can happen, even life forming from nothing. But is that science, or is that a leap of faith in itself? Like many of you, I've watched plenty of documentaries and science shows that explain how everything evolved over billions of years. However, upon closer examination, I began to notice some gaps. Take Mount St Helens, for example. It formed the mini canyons in just days.
Look at this canyon. It reminds me of the Grand Canyon. You've got this little stream, you've got these steep canyon walls. How long do you suppose it would take for a stream this small to remove this much material and cut the canyon this deep? This rock has a history, just like I do and just like you do. It came from somewhere. A lot of these rocks have been dated to be 350,000 years old, up to 2 million. That's pretty old. But it might surprise you to know that all of the geological formations that we see here, the canyons, the layers, even the plants, are younger than I am. When I was born, there was nothing here but a vast forest, hundreds of feet below where we're standing right now. In fact, before 1980, most people had never even heard of Mount St Helens. It was in that year, on May the 18th, that molten rock created a steam blast with a force of 20 million tons of TNT. Avalanche debris and other flows from the eruption laid down all of those layers rapidly, up to 600 feet thick. A couple years later, there was some more volcanic activity that created a mud flow that cut out this entire canyon. It also cut through deep bedrock, all in a couple days. Isn't it amazing what a little bit of information from the past can do to help change your view of the present and the present world around you?
Not millions of years, or the volcanic eruption on the Surtsey Island, which developed soil, life and ecosystems much faster than expected.
Intrigued scientists because it looks like landscapes most think are much older. According to a New Scientist article, the island has excited geographers who marvel that canyons, gullies and other land features that typically take tens of thousands or millions of years to form were created in less than a decade. Biologists have also marveled at how quickly plants, animals and birds have colonized the island. The Icelandic Institute of Natural History put it this way: we now have a fully functioning ecosystem on Surtsey. If you visited the island of Surtsey and weren't aware it was less than 50 years old, I wonder how old you'd consider it to be. The next time you hear that a particular landscape took millions of years to form, remember the island of Surtsey, because things can be misinterpreted as being much older than they really are.
These examples challenge the ideas that everything needs millions of years to form, and they raise important questions about how we date the Earth. Think about code. If you find lines on code running a program, you know someone wrote it. The same goes for DNA. It's like a complex instruction manual for life. The flagellum, a tiny motor inside specific cells, is so intricate and efficient that it would rival some human inventions. And when you talk to farmers, programmers or engineers, they all say the same thing. Complexity doesn't just appear, it's designed. Here's a tricky one. How do we date fossils? Fossils are dated by the rocks in which they were found, but the fossils themselves are dated by the rocks. That's called circular reasoning, and it shows how some scientific claims can be more fragile than we realise. Scripture has a lot to say about the truth and creation. Romans 1:20 tells us that God's invisible qualities are in eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, been understood from what has been made. Psalms 91 says, the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Whether you're standing in a forest, watching the stars, or looking through a microscope, the evidence of the creation of God is everywhere. Look, I'm not saying you should reject all science, but I'm saying we shouldn't accept everything without questioning it. The truth can handle tough questions, and faith doesn't mean turning off your brain. For me, the more I learn about the natural world, the more confident I am that science doesn't disprove the Bible, it confirms it. Don't forget, if you're finding value in this, go ahead and hit the like button so YouTube knows to share it with others. What do you think? Let's talk in the comment section. If you've enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe and share it with someone who's been wrestling with faith and science. I'll be posting more in-depth drives like this, so stay tuned and thank you for watching. Take care, God bless you and goodbye.